Good morning, everyone. It's another happy Tuesday. So we are back with another free pre-market broadcast. It is the 8th of July. Please do me a favor, wherever you're watching this, X, whatever, YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that retweet button, whatever that button is, just hit it for me, please. The more we get, the more free content that we can do. Just before we get stuck in, just a disclaimer, this video is for information and education purposes only. All right, let's get stuck in. Emil, take it away.
All right. Morning, everyone. So I am going to watch all of, I would really like to see a little bit of price expansion into the open. So far, it's behaved pretty well, but I would mostly like to see a push towards 4 and then some fails and then break under previous levels, previous lows, in order to be able to short in pops, then risking dent highs. So not really looking to be the first in, most likely going to let it unfold for a bit, then see where the range is in order to take advantage of. So ideally speed ups toward 4 and then some fails to short it later in the morning, maybe after 10 a.m. PROK, another name I'm watching so far, gave up most of this move, but still, has this grinding move into the open. I would really like to see some pushback against to 1.25, 130-ish area in order to take advantage out of that move. Then looking at NDRA. NDRA, it's a nano float, and this one can be tricky, already been tricky. So if the price is going to be resilient and is not going to give up, definitely I'm going to be on toes. But other than that, I'm going to watch any speed up towards 10, going to risk 1150-ish area, so leaving a little bit of room before I see the stuff, or depends how it's going to behave after the open. But ideally, like I said, any push 10, 10, 10, 50, and then risking 1150. I would really like to see some stuffy action under 11 and then show some weakness in order to add more. But if it's just going to, swipe, the dips are going to be soaked, definitely not going to fight with. ASST, so far pushing and stuffing this area, not really interested. I would rather wait and see if there are going to be any significant pushes, and ideally it's going to push towards 9 and then even more in order to be interested. As long as it's going to go sideways, not really interested to short this one. To me, this is looking like it's holding up, and in order to take advantage of this type of action, it's going to need some price speed up. CRCL, another one I'm watching. This one, it's been building up pretty nicely. Yesterday broke out this range, and so far I was expecting to see after our action, I was expecting to see it's sort of holding up. So far, this is a good level to pay attention at, because it's 50%. Not 50%. VWAP from yesterday. So as long as it's going to build up above 197.50 and holds the trend, I'm still going to keep my long bias on it. But if it's just going to be weak, definitely not looking to join the trend. So I would really like to see some sort of build up in order to take any consideration. IONQ, another one I'm watching. Yesterday they had an offering, and the underwriter, it's being a money, but still soaking, and yesterday been holding. So at this stage, I'm going to watch dips and see if they are going to hold, looking pretty much at 44.50-ish dips, or any build up above, a red to green area, and then maybe an opening range break for a long. I'm going to risk pretty much yesterday's lows, but it really depends how it's going to behave after the open. If it's just going to have an opening range break, then most likely I'm going to use today's low, and it's going to be make or break. But big picture, I'm looking for a breakout of 50. We shall see if this one is going to hold or not. Yeah, pretty much that's it for me today, guys. Passing it over to Jura.
Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. I hope my connection isn't too bad here. But pretty deep, long watch list. I'll run through it real quick. BMNR, just a very tight day yesterday. Volume decreasing a little bit. I'm looking for any trend off of open. Otherwise, I'm happy taking it tomorrow if today's volume is even lower than yesterday's and we hold this inside day. IONQ, same kind of idea as Emil. Looking for any trend, preferably off open over yesterday's highs of this 4720s area. Holding up really well, nice daily here. So yeah, through that I'd be interested. VNET, tight inside day yesterday. We could see, that the volume's been picking up really nicely over here the last week or two. So looking for any breakout of 770s. OUST, LiDAR name that's been trending really well. Could really ideally use more time here. So, I'm not too excited about it, but if it starts to maybe undercut and reclaim this 10-day, then I would be interested in that. BBAI, pretty much the most impressive volume I've ever seen on like a $3-4 stock, and constantly and consistently, and now it's picking up even more as it broke out through here. We got 2 tight days decreasing volume. If we just continue to go, then I'd potentially be interested in taking that for a long trade. QS, we had it on this day here as it perked back through the prior day's highs, and now we just, inside days, volume still decreasing. So anything over that 7 level potential trend join. Hood, the S&P inclusion was not there last week, but didn't care. It's still holding that 90-91s level, tightening up nicely now. So if we're going to blow off, then I'd be interested in even riding it for that blow off. So any trend over, really off of open or over prior highs, then I'd be interested in that. INOD, a little choppy, but we have a clear level here. It's 51, 52 area. If we could perk out through there, then I'd be interested in joining that. CoreWeave, inside day yesterday. Pretty much just looking for a trend to join, over the 165, 166 level. AR, and then these are really back burner watches. Same kind of deal, I guess, with OUST, with the undercut and reclaim of the 10. ARQQ, a little gap this morning. OKLO and SMR, same idea, the undercut reclaim, especially if LEU, which we had yesterday, wants to continue for a second day type of move. We're getting that little bit of a breakout through this tight range here. And then ASST had some action yesterday. If we go into the hourly, not including, these candles over here because it's extended hours. But if we look at this, we pretty much get this huge like 200% move, 250% move. And then we get this 3-hour pullback on decreasing volume. So once market opens on the platform I use, these candles won't be there anymore. So I'm pretty much just watching for any reversal, preferably over 760s. Then maybe we get some push, through 880s or even 10s. If it's going to continue and really hold, I wouldn't be shocked to see this go back to the 12, 13 level. But pretty much yesterday, it made a massive move on great volume, gave most of it back intraday, and it was on decreasing volume. So if it continues to trap even this morning, since we're getting some move, and now this volume is not that much to get rid of everyone that was in there yesterday. So now we're starting to pull back a little bit, more are going to get involved, and pretty much just watching for that secondary squeeze out. And I'll use these keys from yesterday as my levels. That's the 880s there we could see, and then so on. That's what I got. I'll pass it over to Dawson.
Hey guys, good morning. July 8th here. Again, fairly extensive watch list here. We'll try to narrow it down to a couple, but share some ideas nonetheless. VOR here, have traded a few breakouts along the way. Higher low trend has stayed intact. the entire run up here from 20 cents up to $3. Has a history of having some trouble on those day twos and gap ups. So we get this first green day, gap up, failed fall through. Second day here on the breakout, day two, gap up, failed fall through. Now we've got this breakout here and we're gapping up again. So far having some trouble with this prior day's highs and getting some failed fall through action here right into it. So I think a setup here could be a shove and stuff through 320s. And as long as it sits back, has trouble with VWAP off the open, I like that for a mean reversion pullback. Just looking for history to repeat on this name. Not typically the extension I'd look for, but given how this name in particular likes to trade, worth keeping an eye there. TOST, bigger picture, large cap, this 45's half area starting to consolidate and build. So keep this one on watch. Fairly straightforward, buying the break, risking a low, trail versus moving average, that sort of idea. RGC, Nate's put out his plan on Twitter on this one with his comparisons. So if anyone's wanted to do the homework and look into it, then there was a trade opportunity there yesterday. There is a bit of risk to like overnights if you get any sort of fat tail moves like this. So I've taken the approach of just looking for open entries and faded into the close. So looking for some more open entries into pops looking left and get some quiet fades back red. See if we can round trip this thing. I think it ends up back near the lows in the long term. But I think there's opportunity each day, similar to MLGO. Each day, since it's pop day, you get that range back to the downside. MBIO, with this 10% gap down, I'm not super interested in it. Yesterday, it was still up about 160% at close, so there is still room for it lower. With the other gappers today, I think that people lose this off radar. But pops up here towards red to green, I would trade it as kind of an overextended gap down and look for this to mean revert, fill this gap back down towards twos. Wolf, I've put on a starter here, nothing really super meaningful. It's got reg show and the borrow is a bit expensive, so I typically have a bit of an issue on the cover side that I just never want to cover to have to borrow more. But we're going gap to gap to gap here. This has some bankruptcy risk to it, so just nothing I felt the risk was worth long side. But to the short side, as far as I know, could delist at any point. But it's the breakout here from 1, now gapping up into the 3s. This has got plenty enough range, extending from the daily 4 moving average. So it likes to set its low a day right off the open. So if the opening range lows get taken out here, I think could get that mean revert first red day style fade. VIOT was fairly illiquid, but got put on my radar here for the couple days of extension. Started to speed up, and now we're getting this 20-30% gap here this morning. So as long as this volume sustains, I think could be that overextended gap up play. So far, buyer versus VWAP. If that gives way, I'd look for this thing to sit back as well. And then the last one, BTBT, similar idea, where it's just going gap to gap to gap. We started to get some bigger gaps, some bigger volume, and it starts to speed up. Finally here through 4, it's reaching that 100% threshold I like to see on those multi-day runners. So far, some weakness here in pre-market, higher the better. It has that Ethereum treasury news that's had some legs in the past. So if this continues to build 390s, 4+, I'll just leave it be. I would like to see it weak, pop starting to fail, get that lower high action. And yeah, so that one's worth keeping on radar as well. So try to narrow it down to a few, probably Wolf and Vor, and then look to pick up the pieces on the others with some quieter ideas. So if you want to take it there, Sam, and wrap it up, that's what I got.
Magic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, gents. Again, as always, huge variety, tons on watch. Just focus on what makes sense to you. Focus on what fits your setup and your pattern. And just a reminder, we do this every single day in the room at 8:45. It's a different crowd every time. Different 3 people. every single day. And if you are interested in joining us, then my details are on the screen. Also, you can head across to investorsunderground.com. All right, cool. Trade them well today.